So I wasn't expecting to make this video so soon, but here we are. Hi, I'm L6. Just so we get informalities out of the way. So Joann Fabrics is deciding to close 500 stores. Yeah, you heard me right, 500. And the wild part about all of this is, where do we go from here? Where do we, as a creative group, or I guess, how do you go from having 500 locations nationwide to only 300? Well, let's dig into it. You didn't run your stuff right. That's how we got here. So there's no need to have like this long drawn out explanation. Okay. So Joann's actually started up a website called Joann Restructuring. And I thought it was really interesting because, one, I do appreciate the open communication. I really do. Because they acknowledge the fact that they're crafters, and everybody that falls within the spectrum of crafting, they know that their audience, intended audience for customers, is going to be hurting right now, especially in communities that are smaller. But I can't help but feel that the pain that some of these communities are feeling, this was all their fault. And all right, so what happens is big box store goes into tiny town, and any of the mom and pop stores, they can't compete with those 30% coupons, 40% coupons, 70% coupons. They can't compete with them, so they shut down. And so now you're creating a monopoly within that particular town. I'm not saying that this did happen, but this is happening in a lot of the areas that Joann exists in. Whether it's their fault directly or indirectly, it doesn't matter. What does matter is now there is a community of people that need local crafting. That doesn't include Michael's and Hobby Lobby and whatever random big box store, Walmart, Target, none of those, and actually be able to provide quality and good products on a regular cadence. So now their options are online, or drive to the nearest major metropolitan city that maybe has that one mythical Joann still existing. But Joann can come back from this. And I do believe that, in my non professional opinion, I have some good ideas that maybe they could use. Maybe not. It doesn't matter what they do. But ultimately, they're deciding to not completely close everywhere, but only close down, what, 60%? Is that 60%? Let's do the math on that, actually. Low tech, low tech. All right, so they have 800 stores. Um, you know what? The math doesn't matter. It's too fucking early for this. Whatever. Point is, actually, hold on. What is times point? So I was incorrect. It's not 60% because 60% would be 480 stores. So roughly 60%. I'm not going to do any further math on this because I don't care. But let me show you what they actually set up. By the way, before I even go any step further, I know that your local Joann's is closing. I understand that it hurts here, and it's going to hurt here. But leave those employees alone. Don't go into their stores harassing them, asking them all those questions that they don't have the answer to, or quite frankly, they no longer care about. They're about to be unemployed, and you're sitting there trying to figure out, oh my God, when is the last day I can shop? Don't do that. But let's take a look at their website. So right here you have joannrestructuring.com. So what they do is they're basically saying, hey, this is our plan. They drop press releases. They even have a customer FAQ. Please go read it. Matter of fact, let's read it together. So they break down what Chapter 11 is. They break down, what the bankruptcy code that they're leaning on, and what they're basically giving you a list of expectations. Use this as your guide. Don't go to the stores and ask the employees. They don't care. So let's see. There looks like they're selling to the Gordon brothers. Um, and they're trying to get everything sorted. And they don't necessarily have an exact date that the stores are going out of business completely to shut their doors, but they do have the start of that, which is February 15th. That's tomorrow. So it says customers can continue to shop at Joann's online, on the mobile app, um, and they're saying that these sales can go on for months. Now, pro tip, if you've never actually experienced a going out of business sale, just know that at some point they will start selling the fixtures, they will start selling the shelving. So if you are one of those people who have like a lot of space in your house and you feel the need that you want to have some shelving, then that's the place to look. And they might be able to make a deal. Or maybe they'll say, hey, we're offering coupons, but wait, this isn't on sale. I'm sorry. I'm still pretty peeved at them, but they're going to be online. Now, one thing that they could do, and this is just me being me and trying to be helpful, is they could actually take this as an opportunity to see what areas are affected the most. And what I mean by that is you have smaller towns that do need craft stores. So what you should do is maybe they should look into setting up some type of either a smaller warehouse where they can service those customers faster in those areas, or they can decide saying, hey, we have 100-mile radius on this map here. There's not a single store. Let's maybe put a single store right there. And I think that that would overall help a lot of people. It's not going to help everybody, but I do believe that something similar to that could potentially be helpful. And unfortunately, this is the alternative to like just completing shuttering their doors, which affects not only the headquarters in Ohio and all their warehousing people, but all of the 300 stores that are going to remain open in certain areas. So there is a list on their website that actually has the entirety of store closures. So it's right here on their website, store closure list. And here, let me pull it up for you. This is about 8 pages of basically everywhere that's going to close. So you got a bunch of locations in Arizona, California, lots and lots of locations in California. Some of these cities I recognize, but California, especially Southern California, has the benefit of having the fashion district in Los Angeles if you're looking for fabric. Or they also have probably other crafting stores that are smaller but not necessarily going out of business. You have a handful of locations in Colorado, although I don't know if Joann's is like super stronghold in Colorado. Florida, decent amount. Georgia. So I'm in Georgia, by the way. And what I find interesting about the Georgia list is that you have, I don't know how many locations are in Athens, but I've actually been to this particular location, where Athens, well, it's a college town, but it's also a lot of people, a lot of smaller countries, folk up there, but they have the privilege of having fabric stores that are not necessarily too far. It may be a little bit outside of the driving comfort zone for a lot of people, but they have those stores available. You have one location. So let's flip over. This is the list of all the stores that are remaining open. So California, again, has a decent chunk that says, hey, we're going to remain open in these locations. Alabama, Huntsville. So you have your north, you have your south. Let's go down to there were a lot of closures in Colorado, but there's also a lot of openings in Colorado, so that's a good thing. This is a good sign. Again, if you're not near any of these cities, then yeah, you're going to be kind of screwed. But Florida has a decent amount staying open. Georgia has a decent amount staying open. So we were just talking about Athens. Well, you have a lot of locations in Georgia covered. You have Kennesaw, which is north, going towards North Georgia. You have Decatur, which is more Atlanta area. You have Augusta, which is East Georgia. Columbus, South. Savannah, way southeast. So I can only speak on what I know. Let's go. Let's go down to Texas, because I'm actually used to live in Texas too. So let's see. In Texas, you have stores that are on the north side: El Paso, Waco, Spring, Sugarland, and let's see. Oh, huh. So I just noticed that one location that I used to shop at all the time. I wonder if they just closed like a long time ago, and I never knew about it. But anyway, but they do have a Houston location. They have a Webster location, which is South Houston. So if you're living somewhere in like Pearland or Alvin or whatever, then you're covered there. You may not want to drive that far, but you are covered. I don't know anything about Utah, Virginia. Looks like some of the major cities are there. Again, it's unfortunate. Even in their home state of Ohio, they still have some locations. So it's not all hope is lost. It's just all hope is inconvenienced right now. And that's just unfortunate. But this is what they have to do to keep their company alive. And for the sake of all crafters, sewers, and anybody else in between, I do hope that they stay alive. And I do hope that a lot of these cities pop back on the list from store closure to store opening. So, and I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, store closures list. Not familiar with a whole lot of these areas, but again, you can see the list on their website. Let's go back to the website. So they have a team member FAQ. You're not going to be able to access it. Don't click it. It actually leads to a SharePoint login. So if you are an employee of Joanns, you have to actually log in to see the FAQ for that. So you can't be nosy. Don't be nosy. You're just a customer like the rest of us. Unless you're an employee, then, whatever. But good thing they have their website, because who knows how to get to their website. They also have an FAQ for their suppliers, but I suspect that they have probably more in-depth conversations that are happening not online. So point being is that you can keep up with things, and also they're being very open about what they're doing. So I can appreciate them from that perspective, and I actually have a little bit more respect for them as a company. But my message to Joanns is fix your coupon situation, and I will gladly come back and spend money at your store. So even my local Joann was on the list, and the surrounding Joanns as well, which is fine. I'm okay with it, because I have been trying my best to support local businesses that are not chains, or at least if they are chains, they are local chains. But not everybody is as fortunate as I am to have options. So for those people that don't have options, please don't be afraid of online shipping. Make sure you are very, very attentive to reviews. Make sure that you check dimensions, and because if you're used to going in and handling a product and measure everything you need, because that's the only way that you're going to be a happy individual to being able to purchase stuff. And I'm not saying that they're the only store available, but let's be honest, most people are hardline on places like Hobby Lobby. Michael's is a bit of a mix. I know both of those stores. I don't think Michael's supplies fabrics. I know they bought Hancock Fabric, but they haven't really done much else with them, which I am pretty annoyed about, but whatever. To my seamstress, I'll be honest, your thrift stores are going to be your best bet. If you don't have a local crafting or sewing store available to you. I mentioned online, you buy swatches, you see what works, doesn't work, and actually pay attention to the fabric type. But really, thrift stores, going in and buying some sheets, blankets, whatever material that you may need, just go buy it from there, because chances are you're probably going to be able to save a little bit of money. I know in the Atlanta area you do have options of fine fabrics for sewing. I can't really speak on crafting, but I know that Scraplanta is a secondhand crafting supply store that you can take advantage of, and it's a good cause, and So, I mean, there are options out there. You just have to figure out what's local to you. Get on Google, check the reviews, start asking around, start building a network of people. Because let's be honest, if you're younger and you have friends who can't necessarily afford to buy yardage at $30 without any type coupon, maybe see if you can compile your resources and buy stuff together. Who knows? There are a lot of options. I mean, and let's be honest, there's a lot of cheaper fabric options available online. You're gonna have to just be willing to deal with it. I don't want sewing, and I can only speak on sewing. I can't speak on crafting because I craft, but not to the extent that some people craft. Be all right with being uncomfortable with having your sources. I understand that if you're used to doing this or that. Remember, Joanns.com is still available. So you are going to have the option of purchasing from them. You're just going to have to actually go get the model number of what you're looking for, as well as the dimensions and everything else. You just have to be vigilant. Unless they fix the refund policy, but I mean, it should just be careful. That's all. But seriously, don't go bother those people at their jobs. Like, I cannot express this enough. They are stressed out. They are on a countdown, an unknown countdown of when their store is going to close. The managers won't know. The cashier is not going to know or care. Leave those people alone. But just be nice. Be patient. Be kind. Don't stress those people out, because I promise you, if they are feeling like I feel after a layoff, or an impending layoff, then they're not in the best place. So be nice. And to all the employees or Joann's employees that are affected, I apologize that you're going through this. I'm not at fault, but I apologize, and I feel the need to make sure that you're acknowledged that this is affecting you, and I hope that you have a favorable outcome. But in short, subscribe, like, whatever, or don't. Love y'all. Did I do it?